know. When they know how happy you are because they're happy. And when they're in the audience going, we're so happy for him. And that feeds you, that carries you and lifts you up off the stage. You're walking on air. That's an incredibly powerful thing. And Bob Newhart once said to me, headlining stand-up comics is the second smallest club in America behind living presidents. And he meant the ones that really are out there fucking doing it. The Joe Rogans, the Brewers, the guys. And you know what? Everyone shits on Dane Cook. Man, you fucking sell out the Garden in Boston. Everyone goes, Dice sold out Madison Square Garden. That'll never happen again. Hey, newsflash. Fucking Dane Cook sold out the Garden in every fucking state in the country. And that will never happen again.
Sold out 2 shows in one night.
At the TD, what is it called?
TD North Bank Garden, and also 2 shows in one night at Madison Square Garden.
And his stage was about the size of my fucking balls, so they could get more people. Like, if a basketball game is like 18,000 people, this prick had like 25,000 people. He made a small stage to fit more people in. But here's my point. What Bob Newhart was talking about, he wasn't talking about just the fucking guy you see at the Improv who just happens to be there. I'll never badmouth a comic. But, you know, there's just guys out there that are going through the motions and they fucking suck. And they probably know, they don't know they suck, which actually makes it worse. The real headliners, the guys up there that give a shit, the guys that don't want to do the same shit in the next town, even though that next town hasn't heard the shit in Denver that you did in Salt Lake City, because it's important to keep it fresh and to keep it new. And when you go out on stage and people go, O&A, and they yell, Slammin', and they yell, ooh, hey, buddy, and they yell shit from where they've seen you from, and then they settle in for a show, and you take them wherever you want them to go. That is never been discussed, described, transcribed, or written in book form. That's what I would really like to do, is write a book about Zen and the art of stand-up comedy. Because there's times when I'm on stage at Gotham in Manhattan, and I say something that gets the biggest fucking laugh, but I didn't think of it first. It just comes out of my mouth. And then now it's in my act, and now I build an entire little comedy city around it. You know what I mean? That night in Catawba, North Carolina was really the first time I was aware of other people's energies affecting me and me putting that energy back into the universe. And that, my friends, is why I really thought it was long overdue that I do a podcast. Because you, my friend, are sitting there in your car. You might still be in your driveway because you don't want to turn it off. I don't know how you're listening to it. You might be on a train. You might be at the gym. You might just be walking around. But the fact that you work very hard for a living and you take time out of your day to listen to this instead of the Rolling Stones, the Beatles, and you could be listening to anything. You could be listening to other podcasts. But you chose me. And I assure you, as God is my witness, I take that very, very seriously. And now it's my job not to ruin our relationship from here on out. Thank you for listening to this podcast, the launching episode. It might have to be a 2-parter when it's all said and done, of Mohr Stories. Coming up in the future, you can expect a lot of Christopher Walken stories, Norm Macdonald stories. Basically, all of my impressions that you've heard, I have a story about that person. That's something I kind of take pride in my stand-up act, is I don't do like just those person's jokes. I do an actual thing that happened to me with that person that I share with the audience. And we'll talk about me when I was gay for a brief amount of time. We'll talk about circumcising my son. I did it here in the garage with a Poland weed eater. And we got a lot to talk about. We'll talk about sports. We'll talk about the Real Housewives of New Jersey. We'll talk about whatever you want. We'll get into that later, I suppose, on Twitter. If you want to hashtag Mohr Stories, let me hear it. What stories? Because I've told Clint Eastwood stories on the radio that people want to hear again. So, yeah, tweet this, hashtag more MOHR stories. And this has been great. I want to thank Cohen for being effortless. And Kevin Smith said he was sending a guy over to my house. He'll take care of everything. And I got news for you. This went by very quickly, and it was incredibly easy, meaning the people around me made it very easy. And Lord knows I love to talk. So let's do it again, my friends. This will be out once a week. It's Mohr Stories. My name is Jay Mohr, and believe it or not, I really do love you. And I'll see you next time.
Find more funny shit like this at smodcast.com.